Welcome to the podcast, hablemos de lo nuevo. 40Gs, Vanney, ¿qué pasa en el terreno? Vienen jugadores y se van, traiga lo nuevo, a huevo. Doesn't matter where you from, Salvador, Mexico, Honduras, Nicaragua. Todo mi latino, come and listen for an hour. TikTok, que traemos lo que quiere, todo lo que pasa dentro y fuera de las redes. Really? You don't know what it is. Reportamos con la lupa what we see at the digs. En las buenas y en las malas yo diré la verdad. Si cometen un error o tienen habilidad, la calidad del rival cuando viene a jugar. Facts. Yo no me muerdo la lengua. Got love for the crest in the city I came from. Los campeones de campeones y con copas mi race. No empezamos, empurgamos. Soy la voz de LA One. Soy la voz de LA One. Love. Yeah.
Welcome back to La Cuna Galaxiana, La Cunita edition. You guys know what it is. We've been doing these little mini episode match reactions for you guys, and boy, is it good to be back and to maybe not get a win, but we'll take a tie, which is better than the Galaxy have been doing. Let me go ahead and introduce myself. As always, I'm one of your co-hosts, Rob Jalon, and you can find my written work at Last Word on Sports, and you can find me on the interwebs at El Escudero de LA. Of course, I have with me, as always, oh yeah, and of course, you guys can see that on the screen now. Still getting used to this whole live thing, and
for the audio listeners, Papa. Yeah, for the audio listeners though, for sure. Shout that tag out.
Yeah, for sure. So you know, that voice that you heard coming from the netherworld, the ether, is my co-host. You guys know him, you guys love him. You know him as El Yerno Guapo, aka El Gitano Perdido, aka that cat you love to stalk, Ananda Kirana. Papa, it's not a loss today. How do you feel?
Well, first, hello from the other side. Shout out Adele. But yeah, it is not a loss. It's progress. It's progress in the process. Okay, I'm gonna step away from that before I get myself in trouble with the part of the Galaxy fan. Yeah, with part of the Galaxy fan base. But no, good man. You know, it is Valentine's Day today, by the way. So we are recording this on Valentine's Day. So love is in the air. So happy Valentine's Day to all of you that are listening, and hope you had a great one.
Beautiful.
So, by the way, you guys know that Rob is like almost 100% when he starts singing. Like his singing voice is kind of back. So you know he's feeling it. He's feeling a little more chipper today. Not like the other day where he was sick and he was kind of, you know, just
I was down
really
bad.
Yeah, down for the count. But he's almost back, guys. He's almost back. So
almost.
He starts humming and singing, and you know that karaoke voice starts coming out, and he's almost there, guys. He's almost there.
Well, you know what? It's gonna take a little bit more of a sickness to get me down than that. And just like JP says, unbreakable.
Hey, well, we'll get to JP. We'll get to Joey Pants later, man. We'll get to Mr. JP. I love his beats. I'll give him that. So do I. That's right. But hey, Papa, so I know this is a La Cunita, so let me get to the housekeeping real quick, and then we'll just get right to it and talk about this match, because
let's do it.
I thought it was interesting, man. So as Robert said earlier, you guys can always block me or stalk me at Ananda Galaxiana. Again, for all you guys on YouTube, by the way, I hope you enjoyed the last episode. That's why we did another one. I got some really good feedback, some comments, you know, some again, I think we love doing it. I think it's resonating with you guys. So, and you can see again our tags there on the screen. And of course, you can find us at La Cuna Galaxiana. We are now obviously on audio and video, so on YouTube, and as well as all of your audio dispensers, so Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple, you know, all that good stuff, if you do prefer the audio version of our recording. If you don't want to see our beautiful faces, then you can just listen to the audio, and that's fine too. We love it all. But
you guys want to catch El Yerno Guapo for sure. So you know what? Go ahead, and this YouTube channel isn't officially live yet. Like, we haven't done the live show thing yet, but you guys can certainly go there and subscribe. Of course, youtube.com /at La Cuna Galaxiana, because you know what? Just like La Cleo all the way in Spain wants to see El Yerno Guapo, I know you guys want to see El Yerno Guapo too. So like Ananda said, This is a La Cunita, and he does got to keep me honest. So I'm not going to hit you with so many shout outs today.
But Papa, I do gotta hit the folk with this though. Porque
Yeah.
antes de olvidarme, como siempre,
Mhm.
buenos días, tardes, o
Yes.
noches,
There
even
it
on
is.
Valentine's Day,
There it is.
even on the Dia de San Valentín. Y bueno, bienvenidos a otro capítulo de La Cuna Galaxiana, es La Cunita, esta vez. Y bueno, vámonos, Roberto. Y let's talk about, well, a couple things, maybe a couple shout outs, and Joey Pants.
Yeah. Well, we just have a couple of shout outs here. First one is you know, the homie at Childish Black Chino on X or Twitter. He had a really nice feature by the league for Black History Month, and just wanted to shout him out because not only is he a beautiful representation of Galaxy fandom, but I know that he is an educator as well, and I know that he's touching lives like on the daily and making it possible for folks that look like you and I, and other folks that look like him to have a safe space and feel welcome and have someone to talk to. So shout out to that cat wherever he may be. Hopefully he had a beautiful day. I know that Galaxy fans were writing him in and like shouting him out and stuff like that, and so I know he felt the love, but I want to show him a little bit of love from this podcast. And like I said, he's one of the most beautiful representations of Galaxy fandom that we have out there. So shout out to Childish Black. Happy birthday to El Diego, not El Diego Maradona, but El Diego Fagundes, our Diego. Man, he's looked good, and you know what, I'm super glad to see that he's settled. He's got a spot. He's nice with his family. He's like got his dogs around him, and I think you could see the difference in like the preparation, like just the body language on the field. So happy birthday to him, Ananda. You were gonna chime.
I was gonna say he's nice to me too, man, and nice to my wife. He, we met him outside the corner right after he did the Corner Galaxy
Ananda
interview.
gave him some tchotchke.
Yeah, I gave him a little tchotchke. But no, just super gracious and seems like a really, really nice, humble guy. And I tweeted the other day that he deserves to start against Miami. He's put in the work, I can tell. And no matter who comes in that position, I think he deserves to start. He's worked really hard, man, and it shows.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. I mean, let's just be honest. I mean, even if Gabriel Peck and this other DP that is rumored to just be just almost there, Joey Paintsil, almost there, but not quite. But even if they were to drop in tomorrow, I think Diego's done enough to earn his spot. Of course, you and I don't make these decisions, but if we did like that, we would go with Diego because he's earned it. So keeping it going here. Happy birthday, Diego Fagundes. Happy birthday as well to my favorite American of all time, Frederick Douglass. Long time ago, this man was born during the dark days of slavery here in this country, and he self-educated. He became one of the greatest Americans, and for me, the greatest American. And it's interesting that since slaves back in the day didn't have the luxury of knowing when they were born, or just even being able to celebrate simple things like birthdays, Frederick Douglass chose as his birthday when he became emancipated Valentine's Day, because when he was a child he was given a heart-shaped cake by his mother, and before she was I believe it was either the day she was sold away or the day before she was sold away. So he chose as his birthday Valentine's Day. So happy birthday to Frederick Douglass, my favorite American. My second favorite American is obviously David the Bings Bingham. Everybody knows that. That's this obvious. But that's definitely tongue in cheek. Don't take me seriously on that one. But yeah. So shout out to Frederick Douglass. A happy birthday to him. Happy birthday to Diego Fagundes. And now we're gonna keep it rolling to what people want to know about, which is Joey Pants, JP. You didn't call him JP, and he's releasing them songs, man. So and like Ananda said, they're bangers. But what's important here is that he's also a banger on the pitch, and it looks like the Galaxy have gotten this sewn up after much saga, much going back and forth, hemming and hawing, we gave you a quick little update on that, how the Galaxy had the agreement with Genk for the buyout clause that lapsed. They went back to the table, they were negotiating, so it looks like it is now happening. The Galaxy have reached an agreement with Genk to sign the 26-year-old Joseph Paintsil, the Ghanaian international, for around 9 million fees plus add-ons, and by all intents and purposes, from what we're hearing, he should be flying in LA tomorrow. Time of the recording, it is Wednesday, Valentine's Day, like we mentioned, and so he should be here by tomorrow, Thursday. So if you're one of those people that is looking at flights, look at those flights for LAX coming in from Belgium, because he's arriving tomorrow. So welcome to Los Angeles, Joey Paintsil. And of course, this is all pending medical and official announcement and stuff like that. But there's been a couple reputable people that have went ahead and said, hey, this is sewn up, this is done. Among them, Tommy Bogart, who we had the chance to meet over the weekend. Super nice guy. The mustache is as luxurious as in photos and in as advertised. It's luscious. So yeah, he was one of the people that said this is sewn up. So Galaxy fans, I know you were worried about it. I was worried about it. And it's happening. So welcome to Los Angeles, Joey Pants, aka Joey Paintsil, aka JP, the Unbreakable.
So Robert, changing that tune, huh? Now that he's here, but last show you were like, F him. But now, now that he's here.
No, see, don't misquote me. Don't misquote me.
If he doesn't come, F him. Right. Or if he doesn't want to come.
Exactly. Okay. And so that was my whole thing. People that want to be here should be here. And like I said, if he doesn't want to be here, cool, F him. There's tons of players in the world, but it looks like he does want to be here because they sewed it up. So now that he's here, welcome to Los Angeles, welcome to the Galaxy, welcome Star.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing, and that's what I told you last time, because by the way, I did shout out Profe Alex because he helped me become a reporter today and do a little digging and investigating, and I wanted to go back and sort of look at the timeline again of sort of again, just to think about what we talked about last time. And that's why these transfer sagas, man, I just take things for what I know, obviously, from people like Tom Boger and the insiders, right, and what they're reporting. And it's hard to kind of just read into the things, but I just want to say that Ghana's last game was on the 22nd, and his release clause expired on the 20th, which means, as I was mentioning before, I think it was just a case of, man, it was just a big decision for him. He was really focused on AFCON. It was still going on. His release clause had already expired. He was playing another game on the 22nd. But at the end of the day, I'm going to give mad credit to the front office, man. I've heard around the league and sort of the reporters and people in the media say that this getting 2 DPs of this quality is a big coup for the Galaxy. So mad props and mad respect to Will Kuntz in the front office and the scouts.
Well, look, man. I mean, between them both, they just dropped around 20 million. That's not insignificant. They with Chicharito, they broke their transfer record, and that was a couple years back, and that was just one player in that summer. And when you're bringing in 2 DPs of this magnitude for this price, people were working around the clock, I'm sure, to make this happen. And congratulations to them because they made it happen. So these are 2 major signings, and 2 major signings that can flip the fortunes of this franchise or this team. So congratulations. Credit where credit is due. When I did speak to Greg the other day, he did say, the next couple of days are going to dictate whether or not this player is going to be in by the 25th. And it looks like the next couple of days were favorable, and that's why he's coming. So Joseph Paintsil on the right, Gabriel Peck on the left, and you got, your Dayon starting up top with Ricky just behind them. You got the triple P, man. Peck, Paintsil, and Pooch.
Oh, that's right. There you go. That might be another new slap, or someone's gonna do something with that, I'm sure. But I'm gonna close the JP stuff with this, which is speaking of Tommy Bogert.
You're gonna sing Unbreakable?
He's no, that's for you, Bubba. That's for you. You got that karaoke voice. You got way better than me. Exactly. I don't want to get in trouble for copyright. So we got to be careful on that, right? With the YouTube and stuff. But no, Tommy Bogert, he said on multiple shows that if you were to draw up a picture perfect sort of profile player to play next to Ricky Puig, it's JP. It's Joe Paintsil. So just based off of that alone, with his attributes and his skill set, I'm excited to have this guy, man. And I think our attack is, once we get fit and firing, it's going to take a couple days. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take a few training sessions, a few games. I think we're going to see it though, man. I think the LA Galaxy front three, or that attack front four, really, we're going to bring the heat, and I think we're going to scare a lot of defenses this year. That's what I'm hoping, anyways.
Yeah, well, to sew, like you said, to sew up the JP talk, we did say just a couple moments ago he's due in Los Angeles here on Thursday, ready for the medical, and I'm assuming he's not going to be ready for any kind of action in the Coachella Valley Invitational. But since he's in Los Angeles, I don't see why he wouldn't go out there. So who knows? We may get to see him, maybe not play, but we may get to see him. So it just, logically, it just seems like if he's going to be in Los Angeles doing the medical and stuff like that, he's going to want to join up with his teammates as quickly as possible. Maybe not to play in the game, but maybe to start getting some training in. Of course, there's the whole
status.
Exactly. I was about to say the whole visa thing, but I got to believe that somebody's already working on that. Some, like, the wheels are in motion, because as we see, we are, just 11 days away from the season starting. So Greg did say on Gabriel Peck's visa issues that, he'll be in this weekend as well. And after that, it's just a matter of actually getting the paperwork back and stuff like that. So there is a possibility for both these players to be ready to go for the 25th. So, if you do have tickets for that home opener against some little guy named Leo Messi and his Inter Miami team, you might not be seeing these two players start, but they may see some action. So something to look forward to. And with that, we will take it to your match recap today, because we're still looking forward to the Galaxy's first preseason win. They are still winless in preseason. They tied 2-2 today against NYCFC. They fell behind early 2-0 within the first 20 minutes by two pretty bad individual mistakes. And for as much as the individual mistakes were bad, I think we can directly attribute them to just the preseason and younger players and stuff like that. But this first goal that they're just at 6s and 7s in the back, and the second goal, just a keeper that gets a young player into trouble, and they get a second goal off of that. But the Galaxy did show character to fight back. Miguel Berry got his first in front of fans. Of course, he got his first goal in that closed door session against San Jose, and the young 16-year-old Harbour Miller got the tie off a set piece, a well served ball by Tucker Lepley, who continues to impress. So yeah, that's pretty much what happened in this one. A 2-2 tie, should have been 3-2. Johnny Pettis, had a goal knocked off, supposedly offside. I didn't see it myself, but the Galaxy showed some character to get back in this one.
Yeah, and like that image just showed, man, we got a couple people back. We got Gaston back. That was huge to have him back in the midfield. We'll talk about all this stuff later. But yeah, Robert, so talking points, where do you want to start? You want to start at how we started it last time, which is I think still the big talking point, man, and unfortunately, because the scoreline shows it. Exactly. Right.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it's the defense, goes out there, Chris Mavinga and Eric Zavaleta, who I think by this point are the recognized, like, third and fourth, not even third and fourth, probably like the fourth and fifth starting center backs.
Yeah.
And so they start this game, and this lineup was full of depth and younger players, to which you and I spoke about with great fear. And then we kind of joked about it. We'll watch them, put up a good showing. And of course we said, well, except for the defense, and we were kind of proven right. This defense, still not it, but something that you saw and you commented on was that they started with the back three, and we saw some Marcus Furcanis today, which I
We
really
did.
liked.
Yep. Yeah. It was
So
interesting. What did you think of him? Because I know you wanted to pay. You sent me a text like, "Hey, I'm going to really pay attention to his performance." What did you think?
it's too small of a sample size. I mean,
Yeah.
he didn't play all that much. I mean, I think he was on for like 30.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not enough of a sample size for me. And not only that, but you can't really judge him for the 2 goals early because they weren't his individual mistakes. So it's kind of hard to judge a defensive player when you already have a 2-0 score line against you. So unfortunately, too small of a sample size. And like I said, it's hard to judge any defensive player when you just have defensive your defensive partners messing up, so you can't judge the back line as a whole. So yeah, I didn't see enough of them.
Were you encouraged though by the fact that after those 2 goals were let in, we brought in some more experienced players, especially in the midfield? Aguirre came in, etc., and then we didn't let up a goal. Now, granted, there was one that came off the post. I can't
Off
remember
a
which part of it.
post,
I can't remember which
Balazo.
part of that. I think it was after the 30th minute. I think it was in the first half. But really, after that, we did pretty well. By the way, I did want to shout out this cat right here. I thought he actually did a really, really good job when
Mickey.
he came in. No, McCarthy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Mickey.
Oh, Mickey. I thought you were talking about Yamane. Yeah, McCarthy.
Oh, not Yamane.
Yeah,
John
both
Mick.
Mickey, right? John Mick. I don't know about you, but I noticed a sort of communication difference between him and Jonathan
Definitely.
Bond. And by the way, I did see Alex Ruiz. He did write an article about it, and he did mention John McCarthy, and that he had a really good performance, at least from a communication standpoint. And I think that's one of the things I really liked about John McCarthy, and that's one of the things I believe we heard for him coming into the team was just his vocal leadership, especially in that back line. So I think we're going to need that experience, man, moving through. So I thought he had a really good stop, sort of went really quick down on his right side off of a long shot. I thought he did really well on that. So yeah, I just wanted to, as we display his graphic here, just wanted to give him a shout out because I thought he played really well. And I personally was encouraged by the fact that we did not let in any more goals after that, and we kept it tight all the way through.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you. He's much more vocal back there, and I think you see the difference between him and Jonathan Bond, especially because, like I mentioned, yes, the young players that fall for the Galaxy's second goal, but like you brought up when we were talking about this game, I mean, an experienced goalkeeper should know, hey, don't play into trouble like that. So I mean, that's just as much Jonathan Bond's fault as
Yeah.
the inexperience of youth. And we've seen Jonathan Bond a lot. He's not that type of goalkeeper who's going to be back there and barking and communicating and stuff like that. And John McCarthy is, and we're seeing it in real time. I think that kind of leadership across your back line is important, especially when you have 2 players in Maya Yoshida and Miki Yamane. Well, not so much Maya Yoshida because he speaks great English, but Miki Yamane doesn't speak English, so you're going to have to be very, very vocal and over communicate back there. And I think that's what John McCarthy brings you. So yeah, those are my 2 cents on the defense there.
Yeah. Well, I actually wanted to take this conversation to the other side of the pitch, Robert, or the other end of the pitch. And I want to talk about the strikers. We didn't get a chance to talk about them much last time. And I wanted to focus on this because obviously we know Miguel Verri scored, and I thought that was an important goal for him. It was a very scrappy goal. I think you mentioned it in the match summary. But again, strikers, you have to know where to be. And sometimes you need those poached goals, right? And I think for his confidence, he's played in all the preseason matches, if I'm not mistaken. So, I think he needed that for his confidence more than anything else. And one of my things that I took away from this match, Robert, is the fact that now with the arrival of Peck, with the impending arrival of Paintsil, and you've got Pooch coming back. He's only played 35 some odd minutes,
35 minutes
this preseason. I think that we just need, I'm going to quote it, like just enough from our strikers. And what do I mean by that? So I heard a really interesting comment. Again, shout out Tom Bogert when he went on Cuna Galaxiana, and he was saying that, you only need Joveljic to be league average this year. Like, you just need that type of production from him. So that's double-digit goals.
Said all he needs to do is just stay onside and he'll get 15.
Exactly. I mean, dude, he got 11 goals and 7 starts in 1,000 minutes in 2022. So we know his ceiling, right? Imagine if he gets a consistent run of starts, starting berth in most of the matches, and he's going to go over 2,000 minutes. I mean, you could see the production there, right? I mean, even last year, I think he got like 6 goals in, I want to say 1,600 minutes or something like that. So we know the production level, but he doesn't need to be a star like, the bagging 20, 25 goals a year. That's, I mean, maybe he can do that. Maybe that's a ceiling, but we don't need him to. He just needs to be
I would
good
love
enough.
that.
I mean, I would love that, but honestly, man, like we just need like when Miguel Berry comes in, we just need some single digit production from him. Get those important goals every now and then. But Dayon, we just need to be him just enough. And I think the goal scoring will come from Paintsil. I think Paintsil is a proven goal scorer in a top league abroad. And then Gabriel Peck as well has got that goal scoring ability. And hopefully we get some more goals chipped in from the midfield. So yeah, I think we just need just enough production from our strikers, man. And I think we'll be good. So what do you think about it? Because I know people are worried about the striker position. So, but I know you had a thought on that as well.
Well, it stands to reason, if Dayon chips in with the 15 that people are saying, let's even lowball that. Let's say 10, and Miguel Berry gives you 4 or 5.
4 or 5,
15.
Right?
Yeah, that's still 15 goals. 15 goals that we didn't have last year from striker play until they brought in Billy Sharp late in the year where he scored 6 and 12. At least initially it was like 6 in like the first 7 or something like that, and then Ricky Puig got injured, he didn't get the service, and he kind of faded down the stretch. But if you're getting 10 from Dayon, you're getting 5 from Miguel Berry. I don't see how you're unhappy with that. But there was an interesting rumor that came out of Turkey, a couple of different reputable sources. If it had been just like one, just like throwaway source there in Turkey, I would have, brushed past this. And this was a rumor that came up already a couple months back. But now with the intensity of all the different sources, that's the reason I'm bringing it up. But the rumor is that the Galaxy are after Vincent Aboubakar, the Besiktas striker, Cameroon's 3rd highest goal scorer of all time. He's 32. So this, not really the profile of player that the Galaxy have, been targeting, young, hungry, dynamic. But he is a proven goal scorer. The hold up here could be his wages. So, since you brought up Prof Alex doesn't seem to think that this one is going to happen just on money. There is a way to bring him in with TAM or GAM, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, or whatever you want to, whatever kind of financial mechanisms you want to use. So I did a little digging myself, and there is a way to spread GAM, or I believe it's TAM. Yeah, TAM. There is a way to spread TAM over a certain amount of years. So, I mean, and I got to believe that Will Kuntz, being the master of, of all these things of the rule book, he knows basically how to manipulate these financial rules and stuff like that to make something like this happen. So, do I think there's something there? Yes. Do I think that the financials make it difficult? Yes. But that, of course, begs the question, where does that leave Dayon? Where does that leave Miguel? But can you really go through the entire year just riding two strikers? One of them goes down, you have to rely on the other for everything. We saw how that turned out last year. So, we'll update you as we have different news on Aboubakar. Like I said, I do think there's something there, at least interest. I do think the financials make it difficult, and if he comes, I do think he's going to score. He's a proven goal scorer. I mean, he's played in Europe. He's currently at Besiktas. I believe he has 4 goals and 1 assist in 12 games this year. And he didn't have a lot of matches last year, but he still scored a handful of goals. So that's actually another sticking point, that he wasn't that available last year. So but that could be why Besiktas is looking to move on, because he's 32. Hey, let's try to get what we can for him right now. He wasn't that available last year. So the rumor is that Galaxy reps are in Istanbul right now, looking to strike a deal. So who knows what's going to happen there? It could be one of those things that they're there. They try to strike a deal, it doesn't happen because of financials. But Do I think that they're at least speaking? Yeah, I think they're at least speaking. So you, do the Galaxy need just enough from the strikers? Yeah, they need just enough. But if one of those strikers goes down, then it's curtains. So
Yeah.
that's
I,
why I
I
think it kind of makes sense that at least the contact.
Yeah, well, I don't know Dayon's injury record. I think last year was probably the first time that he was kind of in and out. Again, some of it's injury and some of it, remember, we had those contract talks last year with Dayon. But age profile wise, I think age is on their side. So I'm hoping for a healthy season for both of them. And yeah, it's one of those things too, man. With Joe Paintsil coming in, we've got 4 attackers now that can play across all 3 positions, right? So it'll be interesting if one of the
Swiss
strikers
Army
goes
knives.
down. Maybe we play Peck up there. Maybe we play JP up there. I mean, I think that's one of the things that probably Will Kuntz was looking at was versatility. So that'll be interesting if we get to that point. Hopefully we don't need to use that lever, but again, something that we'll see how it develops throughout the year.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, hopefully we don't have to use that lever because those players aren't really, that mold. Yes, they can, create for themselves and score, both of them, Peck and Paintsil, but that's not really their game. They're not really strikers. They're creative players on the wing, and they open up the field, and that's kind of what Ricky was saying yesterday when we spoke to him in media day. Sidebar, we spoke to Ricky yesterday in media day, and a friend of the show, Fabirenko, asked him, who he would bring in if he could bust a Messi and bring in one of his friends. And he said, well, I'm not the sporting director, but, I'd bring in a striker that is recognized for being able to score, that can spread the defense, that can, play with his back to the goal, but also getting behind, so for me, it was telling that when asked, Ricky, who would you bring in? He immediately went to a striker, so, I don't know if that means he's not entirely sold on Dayon, but that's what he would bring in, and that's directly from the horse's mouth. Really quick sidebar: I asked him why he chose the number 10, why he thought it was a good moment to switch to the number 10. He said that he took the decision with his family. He knows that the number 10 is an important shirt, and it's always front and center, and he feels like right now is the time to take that responsibility. So. And everything that I'm hearing from Ricky Puig is that he, even more than last year, wants to be that guy, wants to be the face of this organization, wants to be the one who is carrying this team on his shoulders. So, and that's the number 10. And that's why he, took it on himself. So, I mean, let's just face it, Ricky Puig is going to be one of the better midfielders in MLS. And then I know you wanted to talk about this because, we're starting to get some of these Galaxy players back, like Johnny Bettis, who scored the disallowed goal, and Martin Cáceres got a little more time today. But one of Ricky Puig's midfield partners, who was out for basically the entirety of last year, Gaston Brugman, saw his first action today. And I mean, this is, I saw somewhere that there was an article about how, he's going to be like a new signing because he was basically out the entirety of last year.
Yeah, and actually, great segue, Robert, to the next point that I was going to bring up, which is
You're welcome.
this is like the midfield. I think this year will be like it was last year, absolutely crucial to the success of this team. And we always hear like midfield battles are usually decide who wins and loses the game, right? Whoever controls the midfield, for the most part, wins football matches or soccer matches. And
yeah, it wasn't so much the case last year, but especially with the Galaxy.
It wasn't so much the case last year, but when we did have those 3 healthy, Robert, our chances significantly improved. And we did win. We did go on a few runs, even though we stayed in 13th. Right. We did go on a few winning streaks and got a few victories and got even a few important points with those 3 in the midfield. Once you took one of those pieces out, it became really, really difficult, especially when Gaston went down during the League's Cup tournament. And that was a big blow to the midfield. Huge. But man, like, these 3 are so important to the system, man. And remember, I mentioned it last time when I said I made the comment, or I made the take of our best defense is our offense. And I didn't have time to explain it in the last La Cunita, but what I was trying to see, or what I was trying to say, was that Greg Vanney's system is built on possession. It's built on control. It's built on sort of dictating where the opposition wants to go, creating those overloads in certain spaces, right?
Greg calls it time advantages.
Exactly. And then, he also uses the term overloads a lot, which is basically like creating numerical advantages in certain areas of the pitch. And so what I meant by sort of our best defense is our offense is with these three guys as the metronome of your midfield, you're going to control football matches with these three guys. Like you're definitely going to control it, especially with Ricky and Gaston's sort of technical ability, their ball possession, their ball control, and their passing. And then, of course, we talked about this last time. I actually used that as a negative, but now when I looked at it more balanced with these two guys, Mark Delgado, even though he plays a safe pass, he's your metronome. He's the guy that'll just keep ticking it along. He'll cover a lot of ground. He'll cover up for some mistakes. And he's just, for the balance of these three, the other two are risk takers and he's not. So maybe with them too, it really does work as a three midfield. And don't forget about Cerrillo. Remember, I was bigging up Cerrillo last match, and he's a really important part of this too. So I think the Galaxy, as much as we want to talk about the DPs, which is a really, really important point, I think the Galaxy this year will go as far as this midfield will take us, because I think to play Vanney ball,
stay healthy.
Exactly. That was what I was going to get to. If they can stay healthy, if they can produce, I think these three are vital to what Greg Vanney wants to do systematically on both the offensive and defensive ends. So yeah, really, really important, man. These guys stay fit for sure.
I don't disagree with you. Of course, we saw the Galaxy kind of wilt and fall apart after Gaston went down. There was points last year where Mark was out as well, and this is when they looked their weakest, and this is when their depth was exposed. So I don't disagree with you. This midfield is probably among the better midfields in MLS when it's all together and healthy, because like you said, I do think they bring out that balance in each other. Of course, Ricky and Gaston were regularly among the leaders in line breaking passes in the final third last year. And I think that Mark gives them the ability to do that, because they, like you said, they're the risk takers, and Mark is the prudent, I guess I'm going to call him the wise old man, just because even though he's not old, he's been in the league since he was 16. He's like Diego, they're not old, but they have, a lot of years in the league. So he's the wise old man, for lack of a better term, at least in terms of MLS experience. And I think that's where you get that balance from. And mind, I've been one of the ones that have called a couple of times for maybe Mark not to be one of the starters, and to bring in another starting caliber midfield. But the more I see him just like up close and personal at the CVI, I'm like, no, he is kind of necessary. And you said metronome. Greg has said metronome. Greg has said the unsung hero of this LA Galaxy team, and I'm starting to see it. I agreed with Greg Vanney. So
well, you saw the difference too in the second half in those last 30 minutes when Cerrillo and Brugman came in. By the way, interesting observation, which we talked about last time, and I hope you saw it too, Robert, but Gaston Brugman, he's playing in a more advanced position, right? He's playing that box to box, and you saw a couple of lofted balls, a couple of through balls, and that's what I'm saying about Brugman, man. He's such a great passer. He's an absolute wizard with that right foot. He's got a wand of a right foot. And I think you see that control difference within the last 30 minutes of the game versus when the kids were in there in the first 30 minutes of the game, right? And that was a huge difference. And so, this leads to another point that you and I talked about. I think that we want to just touch on this La Cunita, which is, Vanney's rotating his squad quite a bit. And for me, that gave me trepidation. Right. Because I told you last match, I'm like, I want to see these guys play. I want to see the spine play. That's what I said. Exactly. I want to see the spine play. So we get that momentum, coming into the first game of the season. I mean, even my tweet, I'm just going to read it out. I said, visceral reaction was, oh boy, Vanney's playing with fire here, not putting on the starters. Yes, we get to see the kids play in a 3 center back formation, but with 2 games left, the priority should be to max out the starting 11. And most importantly, get that winning feeling, which unfortunately we didn't. But yeah, man. So with that,
they showed some character.
They did show some character, which we will talk about that towards the end of this show. But and good thing that we did come back and we got the point. But now for the last game of the season, I heard Joe Totino on the call say that it sounds like the starters that we saw, they got 30 minutes. They're going to get at least 60 minutes, if not more, in the next match. They're probably going to all start. So that's what I want to see, and that's what I want to see. But I thought that when it was 0-2 or 2-0, I was like, oof, this is not looking good, man. This has some bad stories written around it. But you know what? Fair credit to the boys. But you saw the control. You saw the difference between when the starters were in there and when the kids were in there in the first 30 minutes.
Yeah, well, and unfortunately the first 30 minutes were kind of volatile. Like I said, 2-0 down early, but you said, we're going to talk about it later, but I want to talk about it now. They did show character. They did show character to come back. And you know what, when they went down 2-0, I started thinking, okay, this is going to get ugly, and it's going to get ugly quick. And I'm glad that they were able to prove me wrong. They didn't let any goals in after that 2-0. They were able to batten down the hatches and not get any more against, and then they were able to fight back and get both goals. And they should have really won this game. They should have walked out of there with their first win of preseason. But I gotta laud them for showing the character to come back and fight back, and especially the kids.
Yeah, I mean, I have Harbor Miller here on the screen. Great goal. I saw him celebrating with his parents. I'm sure that was an amazing moment for him.
16
post match, but I agree with your sentiment, and I think this is really important. I don't want to sort of gloss over these things, which is throughout the season, you're going to have bumps in the road. You are going to give up the first goal, especially if you're the LA Galaxy. There's going to be games where you're going to give up the first goal, and you have to sort of stay mentally resolute and fight and sort of claw your way back into games and not put yourself out of games like we did a lot of last season. I think a lot of last season was just due to the things, sort of the quote unquote, I'm going to bring back this term again, the quote unquote noise around the team and everything that was going on off the pitch. And I think, when there is adversity,
look
on
at
the
you
pitch,
starting shit. Come on.
when there is adversity on the pitch, I think that all of that, all that extra stuff outside the pitch, I think that really does affect the players. So I'm hoping that they take this as a learning lesson, or sort of as a vote of confidence to say, hey, we can stay mentally resolute. We can stay in these games. And if we have that sort of resoluteness throughout the season, no matter what's going on in the game, we have the talent, we have the belief, and more importantly, we have the confidence to say, hey, we can win this game. We can get the 3 points, or we can at least get a point out of here on the road on a stormy night in middle of Texas or in the East Coast. Get out of here with a point, and let's get home. And I think we need to take sort of these little small victories, and I think that's a really important point for the group.
Well, this is how it starts, just being able to say, like, hey, remember last time we were down 2-0, we were able to bring it back and we should have won, and those things, like, they're mental helps, they're mental jumps, like, hey, you know what, we can do this. And I think that's where it starts, is like the mentality to be able to say, like, yeah, we can win. So that's, pretty much what I have for today, man, on this match reaction, this little La Cunita. What do you got, man? Do you have anything else here for the folk?
One match left. I will try to be there. I think I'm going to be there on Saturday against the Red Bull. I think that's going to be a really, really important match. I'm hoping to see all the starters again. Hoping to see all the starters start. Hoping to finally get the first win of preseason. Look, if we end the preseason on a win, I think that's a really good way to cap the preseason, especially with the excitement of our DPs coming in.
And you're going to get starters that are playing for a good chunk of time.
Yeah, and on top of that, Robert, hopefully we get to see the team wear the new kits that'll be launched on Friday.
Ooh, that's right. Yeah, we do have a new kit dropping on Friday. A lot of these new kits dropped today officially, but the Galaxy will be dropping their kit on Friday. So the time of recording, 2 days away still. Of course, we have seen this new kit. It's white with the sash, blue pinstripes, yellow accents. What we don't have yet is the third kit and how that will look. So now you're going to get that new home kit on Friday, Galaxy fans. Initial price points are being rumored at around 160 to 175. Yeah, I know. So, you rich Galaxy fans out there, go ahead and kick down. If you want to send us a couple of jerseys, we will be more than happy to grab those jerseys from you and just give you all the love in the world. So, really quick before we sign off, I want to give a shout out to Will Misterbrook and his team. They're doing great work on the Galaxy's YouTube. They just released a Mauricio Cuevas player profile. And that was really fun to watch. And yeah, they're producing good content, and I believe they're producing the content that Galaxy fans want to see. So, anything else, Ananda?
No, man, let's sign off. Let's get out of here.
Right on, guys. Well, before I go, I just want to say thank you once again to the Galaxy community for supporting my sister-in-law and my family, La Cunis Estefi. She did have successful surgery. Doctors are saying that they were able to extract these cancerous growths, and so now she's basically in post-op and getting care that way, and doing her I believe they're doing light radiation therapy at the moment. So thank you to everybody that's gotten the word out and donated. Of course, if you are so inclined, we are still collecting funds for her for that treatment. You can catch it at the bottom of the screen if you are watching this pod. If you are listening to this pod, it's gofundme.com/F/Estefi. That's ESTEFY. And like I said, thank you so much for your generosity and for your big hearts. And with that, we're gonna get on out of here. For my co-host Ananda Kirana, aka El Gitano Perdido y El Yerno Guapo, I'm Rob Jalon. You guys can find us as always on all the socials at La Cuna Galaxiana, and of course, you guys can go ahead and see our tags here on the screen. Ananda's is at Ananda Galaxiana. Mine is at El Escudero de LA. And happy Valentine's Day to you guys. Of course, this podcast is always made with love. It'll always be made with love. And we got nothing but love for you, baby. So until next time, G's up.